It is 80 already in West Palm.
Yep, South Florida has its very own pinball wizard. His name is Brian Dominy. He lives in Boca. He's a pinball wizard that has to be. Computer programmer by profession. And this guy's headed to the World Pinball Championship near London at the end of the month. Please welcome Brian Dominy. Morning, Brian.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing great. So, tell us how you got into playing pinball.
Oh, I've been playing ever since I was a young kid, probably. I started when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and, back then games were everywhere, so I was, would be following my mom around at the shopping mall, and I'd see a game, I want to go play that. And it just started from there. It started like a very simple thing and got very complicated very quickly.
Now, but Brian, you're what, in your 30s? Is that right?
I'm 35 right now.
Okay, so
yeah.
you're 35. You're young. Mostly guys your age would be playing like video games.
That's actually not true.
No?
Actually, if you look at who's going to these types of pinball tournaments, it's mostly people in their 30s and 40s.
Get out, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big pinball player back in the day. I worked at a skating rink, and I don't know, Brian, if you guys, if you are old enough to remember this, because here's the deal. When we wanted to play a certain game, like they had an Evil Knievel pinball machine.
Of course they did.
And they had a Flash pinball machine. Back in my day, it was called Flash, and if you wanted to play, you would go put your quarters... You would stack your quarters on the glass, and that meant you were next in line. You ever heard of that, Brian?
Absolutely. In fact, there's a particular show I go to every so often where they have a lot of old games. I've actually played both of those games you just mentioned, and they'll do that. People will put the quarters on the glass just like they did 25 years ago.
Yeah, you can't trust anyone now.
Well, the young kids, they don't understand it, and they just start picking the quarters up.
Yeah, those are not there like tokens for your use.
Really?
Yeah, no.
It's like picking up the waitress's tip. I used to try to do that when I was a kid. I'm like, Mom, somebody left $7 on the table. She's like, that's not for you, dear.
Well, that just means someone wants to play it next. When you're done, they'll step up and put their quarters in.
Okay.
I thought it was laundry money. I didn't know.
Brian, you actually have 2 pinball machines at home, right?
I do. I have it's World Cup Soccer, which is about a 1994 game, and then a Simpsons Pinball Party from 2003.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Okay, you have to invite me over. I'll bring the beer. Yeah. So, and how much pinball do you play a day?
Yeah.
I probably play at least a couple hours a day, especially before a tournament like the one I'm about to go to. Practice really helps. But on the weekends, I'll play a lot more than that. I'm not saying how much.
Oh, really? Come on.
Now, I have to ask, are you in a relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very understanding.
Is it with a pinball repair person?
It does take a very special type of person to understand, I must say.
Yeah, I bet.
Brian, do you play do you play video games at all, or are you just a pinball guy?
I somehow didn't get into the video game scene. A lot of the pinball players that I know, they're into games of all kinds, but for some reason I just never got into that.
I've never played a video game.
Now, I think we have to mention this. Brian is ranked 121st out of about 5,000 pinball players. He's in the top 2% of pinball players worldwide.
Wow.
So I'm a pinball geek. I feel honored to even be talking to you.
Does it still just cost $0.25 to play?
I'm afraid not. They've gone up. It's about 75 cents these days.
What's the longest you've ever gone on one 75-cent play?
So on one single game, I think I've lasted a little bit over an hour before.
Wow.
On one game?
On one game.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And I know people who have gone longer than that, 3 or 4 hours.
Wow. Okay, now, at the end of the month, you're heading to someplace near London, right, for the World Pinball Championship?
That's right.
Now, you're ranked, like I said, 121st out of about 5,000. How many people are going to be at this competition?
This particular one is going to be 64 people, and it's structured so they pull the best players from each country. So it's going to be almost equal representation among all the countries in the world.
And this is, and I'm not making this up, right, with the International Flipper Pinball Association?
That is correct.
That's a great name.
It started off as just a few friends of mine who wanted to get something started and try to drum up some interest, because you don't see as much pinball now as you used to.
No,
and they really turned it into something that has gotten a lot of people's attention.
Now, Sally and I, on our very first date, we ended up playing pinball. We played the Addams Family machine at a Longhorn Steakhouse in Roanoke, Virginia.
That is a true story.
Yep. You've heard of that machine, too?
I have. Actually, that's one of the best selling pinball games of all time. Everybody loves the Addams Family.
Yeah, I like that because it would make that dun 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 dun.
Oh, yeah, that was a great machine. Now, can you still buy machines like that?
Well, they don't make as many machines now as they used to, so you can find older machines that have been refurbished. And actually, a game like Addams Family is worth more now than it was when it came out 15 years ago.
I believe it.
Yeah, how much would one of those cost, like the Addams Family machine now?
If you wanted a good working Addams Family now, it would cost you at least $7,000.
Holy cow! Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, sorry, dear, you're not getting it for your
I was
birthday.
gonna say.
I was thinking about, we have an anniversary coming up. Later.
Yeah, anniversary.
Not going to happen.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you can probably get the Evil Knievel for about $500.
Really?
Oh, Evil.
Poor Evil Knievel.
I feel bad for Evil now.
That was a great machine, though. That
Yeah.
was a great machine,
Was
too,
it?
though. And Flash, oh, yeah.
Hey, Brian, if you win this tournament, do you get money?
There's a little bit of cash. The first place gets $1,000 and a new pinball machine, and
Ooh.
there's cash prizes for a lot lot of the other places as well. But it's not mostly about the money; it's about the bragging rights.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, now, if anyone out there is like me, like a pinball geek, how do we follow you? How do we know? Are you going to call us back?
Are you going to twit?
Yeah.
I'll surely call you back if I win. But people can follow online actually at IFPApinball.org.
Say that a little slower.
Sorry, I'm sorry. IFPApinball.org.
Okay.
And that's the International Flipper Pinball Association. Is
Got
what
it.
stands for.
And you can also find out information about other tournaments that are held, in the U.S.
Awesome. I had no idea that there were
I
tournaments.
want to go play now after talking to Brian.
Sweet. And Sally doesn't even like video games.
I don't.
And stuff,
I don't
so
like any kind of game like that. But now I want to go play pinball.
I want to buy a pinball machine. I've always wanted a pinball machine in our house. When I was a kid, my parents bought me one from like Sears. It lasted like 2 weeks. I wore it out.
Yeah, I had that.
You had that one too?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it lasted
From
2
the
weeks.
catalog.
Yep, it was from the catalog. Sears catalog. Lasted about
Like
2
a little
weeks.
tiny one?
Yeah.
No, well, it
was like mid-size.
Oh, really?
It was mid-size.
But
yeah.
it busted?
It was no good.
Yeah. So then I took the glass off and played it.
What kind of beer do you drink, Brian? Just saying.
But wants to come over and play.
I'm not picky.
Okay, all right, we'll bring the beer. We want to come over and play pinball. Well, listen, good luck to you, man.
Yeah.
I hope, and please keep us informed, especially if you win. Call us back and just let us know what's going on.
I will do that.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
And you don't mind being called South Florida's Pinball Wizard?
That sounds pretty good.
All right.
Well, I was going to call you that anyway.
Doesn't matter what you want.
No, it's not true. Brian, best of luck to you, man.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for
Brian.
talking
Bye.
to us. All right, sweet. I'm such a geek.
You are. It's like Mo's new hero.
I know. I'm so excited to talk to him.
Him and Brian and Patrick Dempsey.
7:49. All right, we're going to play Yes or BS next for the Key West trip.
Perfect.
Yeah, 3 days and 2 nights at the Cypress House, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's today's.
It's yes, CypressHouseKW.com is their website. You get 3 days, 2 nights at the Cypress House in Key West, which is the coolest place. It's on the National Register of Historic Places, built in 1888.
Yes,
that?
a block from Duval Street, so you're right in the middle of everything. All right, yes or BS, we need contestants. 1-888-415-1055. We'll play next.
More of the Mo and Sally Morning Show is coming up next.
Good grief.
Here on Cool 105.5.